Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen. We're being visited by the woman I believe to be the prettiest holistic medical doctor in the United States, Christine Horne. She is the author of Waking the Warrior Goddess. Last time I told her she needed to change it to Warrior Goddess and Warrior God. And she's working on another book. We'll find out about that. But with breast cancer awareness at an all-time high, I thought it would be a good time to talk to Dr. Horne about prevention, and if you do come down with breast cancer, some kind of cure. Christine, welcome back to Late Night Health.
Thanks. It's great to be with you again.
It's been a while. The traditional breast cancer therapies, mastectomy followed by radiation and chemo, is that a good way of combating breast cancer, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the best way is to prevent it in the first place. So, what the research shows, and I started investigating this 20 years ago when I was working as a plastic surgeon and noticing that my patients were getting younger and younger and younger, that I was doing breast reconstruction on until finally I was doing women in their 20s. And I thought, okay, something's way wrong. And then my own mom got breast cancer and died from it. So I started looking to see what, if anything, women could do to help lower the risk of developing this in the first place. And 20 years ago, literally, I found thousands of studies that showed exactly why we have a breast cancer epidemic and prostate cancer and colon cancer and ill health in general, and all the things we're doing to contribute to it and the things that we traditionally don't do in this culture that are highly protective, and they were all natural. So food, supplements, herbs, lifestyle choices, all the things that I learned in my medical training didn't matter, but they were wrong.
Oh, no.
So really, what the research shows is that about 95% of the cases of breast cancer could be prevented just through diet and lifestyle changes.
What about the genetic aspect that some people, Angelina Jolie?
Right.
Right?
Angelina Jolie has the BRCA1 gene mutation, which definitely increases the risk. But what's interesting is that, ever since we mapped out the human genome, a huge amount of the medical research now is looking at various different things. And when you look into the natural health field, they're looking at various different chemicals and foods and supplements and lifestyle, exercise and things like that. And then they're actually looking to see what effect it has on our genes. So what genes are they turning on and what genes are they turning off? And so the conclusion that we've come to really across the board is that it doesn't really matter what genes you were born with, because you can manipulate how they're read through your diet and your lifestyle. So we call this whole new field is called epigenetics. But there's been all sorts of different studies done looking specifically at how things affect the BRCA1 gene. And so by kind of targeting your foods and supplements, and these can be things like cruciferous vegetables and supplements like selenium, which is a natural antioxidant, that you can lower the risk, even in women with the BRCA1 gene mutation, to something that's way below what is just as normal for a normal person. So
you said manipulate.
Yeah.
So that if you're eating foods with preservatives and chemicals and additives with words that I can't pronounce,
right?
That these can manipulate and actually change my genetics?
Yes. So what happens is, with your genes, I think an easy way to look at it is that, every cell in your body pretty much has the entire, map, all of your DNA that maps out for your whole body. But, for instance, in your liver, only the liver genes are turned on, and your kidney, only the kidney genes are turned on. And so in your whole genome, there's certain genes that are being read or turned on, and there's certain genes that are being turned off. So kind of in general, what we found is that eating junk foods and living, a high-stress diet and everything is something that shuts off kind of your good, healthy genes and turns on genes that actually will, give instructions for cancer. And if you're eating healthy foods, I mean, invariably we just find that, plants kind of across the board have all sorts of different kind of plant chemicals in them that will activate health-producing genes, tumor-suppressing genes. And so, again, you can really kind of, work with your genes by knowing what are those things that you should not do and the things that you should do so that you are most apt to have your genes, giving you instructions for health and for fighting disease.
Can people ask their doctors for a genetic map?
Probably not your normal doctor. I mean, there are, alternative medicine doctors where you can do, we call it snippets, where you look to see if there's any kind of variation in your genetic code that would put you more at risk for certain things. So you can actually then kind of ump your emphasis as far as trying to protect against those various things that you might be more susceptible to, or it'll even look at things like maybe you're not metabolizing vitamin D like you should, so you're going to need twice the dose of a normal person, so you can, really kind of get a more refined prescription for your health based on that. Are
those tests, though, accurate?
They are. So we can do these, genetic testing with that, and yeah, they have a high degree of accuracy.
One of the things that the American people, including me, and I'm going to ask Daryl, too, if he's addicted, is to sugar.
Yeah, love it.
I know.
I know. It's a poison, though. I mean, the research on it is really alarming. I mean, once you start reading all the physiological effects that occur as soon as you consume sugar, you probably would never eat it again. But,
no, I've read it, and I still can't get away from it.
So, it knocks out your immune system. I mean, just completely, totally knocks it out for about 5 hours after you eat sugar, and it causes tremendous amount of inflammation in the body, which we know contributes to every single chronic disease.
Absolutely.
And, you can just go on, yeah.
Right now, I'm drinking pure coconut water. I'm going to look at this, and it says sugar, 16 grams per container.
Oh, for God's sakes.
But that's but it's part of the coconut. It's only coconut water. There's no added sugar.
There's no added sugar.
Right.
Okay. Well, sometimes, it's different in plants. So, like, plants will have fructose in them, and fruits in particular. And if you're eating a whole fruit, it has fiber in it, and so you don't absorb the sugars in it really rapidly that cause the spikes in the blood glucose, which is the thing that's really dangerous. And then your body produces more insulin, which can act as a growth hormone for cancers. So those are the things you want to avoid. So, yeah.
Yeah. So coconut water would not be a good thing to drink.
If it's pure coconut water, it's okay because it has a lot of different, aspects and minerals and things like that are considered really good for you. Yeah.
I'm looking at this. It says pure coconut water, and then on the side, on the label, it has an additive, natural flavoring.
Aha!
I didn't check that out.
Pure coconut.
No, it's not. They do. There's an 800 number on here someplace. I'm going to call them up.
Call them up and tell them they're liars. Yeah.
Absolutely. Our guest is Christine Horne. She's a leading breast cancer and prostate prevention expert and author. The author of Waking the Warrior Goddess. Would you say that the number one thing to do would be to cut out sugar?
Well, I mean, that's a real important thing. What's really tough is that when I went through the medical research and I found, dozens and dozens and dozens of things that influence the growth that either you need to avoid or you need to favor, almost across the board, everything that I found that was protective cut the risk in half. I mean, almost universally. So you do vitamin D, it cuts your risk in half, vitamin D supplement. You take turmeric, it cuts your risk in half. And when you start combining healthy diet and lifestyle things together, they actually found that the effects multiply. They don't add. So it becomes incredibly simple to dramatically lower your risk.
It would seem to me, and turmeric can be used in food because it's such a great seasoning,
right?
As well. But the sugar is a real hard problem for many people. I've heard that it's as addictive as cocaine or heroin.
Yes, because it activates the pleasure centers in your brain, just like, heroin would. So the recommendation is to, if you just go cold turkey, so you have to tough it out. But if you make it 3 weeks, there's changes that happen in your body as far as your taste buds. I mean, they actually change their form, and certain areas in your tongue get bigger and smaller and everything. So then if you go back and you taste sugar, it almost gags you because it's way too sweet. So you kind of have to, do one of those things. But you really can break the habit, within about 3 weeks. But
it's hard. Do you eat any sugar at all? I mean, a day without chocolate?
Well, here's the deal. If you do dark chocolate,
right,
it doesn't have very much sugar in it. So that's considered really great because it's, an anti-inflammatory, and it's got really good health benefits.
And that's all. That's what I prefer.
The milk chocolate is, laden with lots of sugar and fats and stuff like that. It's only dark chocolate, so that's okay. Yeah.
We're talking with Dr. Christine Horne, leading breast cancer prevention expert and the author of Waking the Warrior Goddess. She's been on the show before, and I know she'll be back again, too. In fact, she'll be back in just a couple of moments as we continue our discussion here on Late Night Health. Don't go away. More coming up. Join us at latenighthealth.com.